Hello, Year 10. In this lesson, we are going to start looking at how we factorise a quadratic with a coefficient of x squared. What this means is our quadratics will no longer be just x squared. There will be a number other than 1 stuck on that x squared. So it might be 3x squared or 5x squared. And to be honest, this is where the fun starts. So to get started, I just want you to have a go at 4 quick questions. I would like you to multiply out each of these brackets with FOIL, simplify your answer and see what that is. Now, whether you choose to do this in the back of your book or on a piece of scrap paper, I will leave entirely up to you, but pause the video here because I am just going to write the answers straight down. So the answers to these, I am just going to write the final answer down. I'm going to do all the outers and the inners in my head. I would never recommend doing this in an exam because you are throwing away marks. Always show all the 4 parts of first outer, inner, last. But you will have the answers 6x squared plus 11x plus 4. You'll have 6x squared plus 10x plus 4. On this one, you will have 6x squared, you will have minus 10x, and you will have plus 4. And this one here, you should have 6x squared minus 25x plus 4. Did you get them all right? There is a reason why I've got you to do this quick little activity. If you look at all of the quadratics on the right hand side, they are all 6x squareds and they are all plus 4. But the value in the middle, the coefficient of x, is different for all of them. We've got an 11, we've got a 10, we've got a negative 10, we've got a negative 25. What I also want you to do is now look at the brackets as well, because all the brackets look a lot different. So although the final answer 6x squared and 4 is common to all of them, the brackets look very, very different. And working out, going from right back to left, which is what we're trying to do today, is going to be tough. There are going to be lots of different combinations that potentially could give you a reasonable looking answer, but getting that middle term, that coefficient of x, spot on with the correct bracket combination is the challenge. But remember, we do have one weapon in our arsenal, and that's we do know how to do FOIL really well, so we will always be able to check our answers today. So if you've managed to print out the sheet, fantastic. If not, there's a teeny tiny bit of writing just introducing this topic. Do not forget to write down your title and your objective and the date. We have seen from a minute ago, as soon as there is a coefficient of x squared, a number in front of those x squareds, the bracket combination is going to be more complicated. Reason being, it's not just going to be an x at the front of each bracket, and those numbers that we choose are also going to influence the value of b, that middle term. So in this first worked example, I'm going to show you my preferred way for trying to work this out. The key is to write a lot down, to list lots of numbers, and then it might be a combination of trying to just spot an answer or trying lots and lots of combinations until you find what works. So I have got the quadratic expression 2x squared plus 7x plus 5. I know that the 2x squared comes from the firsts in my brackets. And there are only 2 numbers that multiply to make 2. which is 1 and 2. So I've got a 1x, which I'll write as x, and a 2x. Similarly, we know the numbers at the end must multiply to make 5. However, the order that I decide to put the 1 and the 5 will affect what value I get in the middle. Okay, so although there's not many combinations here, we still need to be careful. So I will now populate my firsts, 2x and x. Now, in order to get a total of 7, I need the 1 to multiply by the 5, because that is 5, and I need the 2 to multiply with the 1, because that is 2, and 5 and 2 will make the 7. So I said I needed the 1x to multiply by the 5. So my 5 must go in this opposite bracket. And I needed the 2x to multiply by the 1. So the 1 must go in the opposite bracket to the 2x. The rules for the signs are exactly the same as our earlier examples yesterday. So both of these signs will be plus. I can check this by multiplying out with FOIL. My firsts give me my 2x squareds. My lasts give me my 5. So that's working. Now let's check the outers and the inners. I get a plus 5x and I get a plus 2x, which all together does make the 7x. Let's look at some further examples. So we'll take these further examples one at a time. What you'll gradually see is as we work through these examples, the number of combinations for the firsts and the lasts is going to increase. And when there's more combinations, it gets slightly harder to spot how that middle term is going to be combined. Remember the firsts. What multiplies to make the number of x squared? Well, I've got 1 and I have got 3. What multiplies to make the lasts? Well, I have got just 1 and 7. And these need to somehow combine to give me a total of 20 for the outer and the inner. I also know the signs are going to be different because it's negative here. So it needs to be something that's going to subtract to make 20. Well, I can see if this first multiplies by this last, 3 times 7 is 21. And 1 times 1 is 1. And 21 and 1 have a difference of 20. So, how can I put all of this together now that I think I've spotted the correct combination? Well, I'll do it in the order that I've written here. So my firsts are x and 3x. I've said I need the 1x to multiply by the 1. So I'm, for my lasts, going to need the 1 in the opposite bracket. And I need the 3 to multiply by the 7. So I need the 7 in the opposite bracket. We know the signs are different because it's negative. I'm trying to make positive 20x. So that is going to be positive 21 take away 1. So where's the positive 21 going to come from? It's going to come from 3x times positive 7 and x then times negative 1. So we end up with 21x minus 1x is the 20x. Again, check with FOIL, multiply it out. You can either do that in your head or at the side. Next one, Increasing the number of combinations. I have 10x squared plus 9x take 9. What could my firsts be? What multiplies to make 10? Well, 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. What multiplies to make my last negative 9? Well, I'm just going to ignore the negative for a minute. It's 1 times 9 or 3 times 3. The fact that this is negative tells me the signs are different, so it is going to be something that subtracts to make 9. And I've got lots of combinations of firsts with multiplying by lasts. And this is sometimes where you just have to take a bit of time and look through, try combinations, rule out combinations, and eventually you might spot how you can get that 9. And whilst I've been talking, I've been thinking about it and I have spotted it. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6. And 15 and 6 have a difference of 9. That's going to be my combination. So let's put my firsts in. It's a 2x and a 5x. I need my 2 to multiply by 3 in the lasts. So you put it in the other bracket. I need the 5 to multiply by 3. The fact that both of these numbers are the same number means it's actually relatively easy to put them in. Now let's get the signs right. We know the signs are different. I need a positive 9x by the end. Well, that's going to come from positive 15 take away 6. So I need the 3 times the 5 to make the positive 15 and the 2 times the 3 to make the negative 6. Okay, let's look at my next example. 8x squared minus 26x plus 15. What multiplies to make 8? 1 and 8 or 2 and 4? What multiplies to make 15? Well, that's 1 and 15 or 3 and 5. I know the signs are going to be the same, so it is going to add to make that negative 26. So let's start trying some combinations. And this is what I mean by trying some things. 8 times 15 is going to be way too big. So you've already ruled out that one. Okay? Remember, we're trying to make 26. Well, 4 times 5 is 20. And 2 times 3 is 6. 20 and 6, 26. Now, super important, you can only use one row of your firsts and one row of your lasts. You can't mix and match. So I couldn't say, I'll have the 2 times the 1 and the 4 times the 5, because if you put 1 and 5 in your lasts, you're not then going to make the 15. It's very much a little puzzle that you just need to unpick. So my firsts are 2x and 4x. I need the 2 to times by 3. So the 3 must be in the opposite bracket. I need the 4 to times by 5. Again, in the opposite bracket. The plus tells me the signs are the same. The negative there tells me they are both negative. Multiply it out with FOIL. Convince yourself that it is right. Now, today's lesson, and when you try some of these questions yourself, it is going to be tough. So remember, you can ask questions at any point in the Ask the Teacher channel. I'm not expecting you to very quickly master this. We will be having another lesson practicing. I thought I'd just, for the final example, show you an example where it does something a little bit different. You might recall one of these from year 9. It is called the difference of two squares. And I don't really need to do the first and last for this, because in the difference of two squares, you'll notice we've got that middle term of x that's disappeared. In essence, it means we've got no x's in it. Now, my firsts could be 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. My lasts could be 1 and 25 and 5 and 5. But if I need the things to disappear, I will be picking numbers that are the same. And with the difference of two squares, you end up with identical brackets, but the symbols are different. By making the symbols different, when you multiply out your outers and your inners, they will cancel each other out. So please go back to my instructions. It is very much today. Try and see how you can get on. I honestly don't mind if you look at my answers from time to time. What you'll see in my answers is interesting. You'll see the questions where I've been able to do it in my head. And you'll quickly notice that I can't do these in my head. And then you'll notice a place at the side where I've listed my answers, and you'll see I've done that for the vast majority of the questions. So I am using the exact same method as you are using. And I didn't always spot the answer within the first 30 seconds, so do not panic if it's taking you a while. So check your answers as you're going along, or check your answers at the end. Be honest with yourself, and remember, and I will be expecting it today, you can ask some questions in the Ask the Teacher channel.